Without further ado, I think I'll go straight into the topic. So today we're going to I'm going to speak about Labuan Special Trust. And before I do that, I thought it's important that we just quickly run through some of the essential reasons for planning. And when I say planning, I'm essentially referring to things like asset protection, succession planning, and wealth planning. For those of you who would have heard me speak on Labuan Foundations a couple of weeks ago, I think it was 3 weeks ago, this may be a bit of a deja vu for you guys because this would have appeared in your screen even at that time. I assure you this will be the only repetitive screen, the rest will be different. But I thought it would be useful for the benefit of those who are hearing it for the first time, for them to understand why it's important to plan. And for those of you who are seeing it for the second time, maybe it'll be a good refresher as well. So just bear with me for a moment. So why is it important to plan? Well, Malaysia, is relatively a young nation, 50-odd years, 52, 53 years. And over the years, a lot of the Malaysians have acquired a significant amount of wealth. I think there was a study carried out by Credit Suisse Malaysia, where they have found that last year there was close to about 40,000 millionaires in Malaysia, and it is envisaged, they are anticipating that this will increase to double the numbers after 2015. So you can see that Malaysians have become more and more affluent, and it is crucial for these Malaysians. It could be your clients, it could be yourselves, some of you who are listening. It's crucial for you guys to make sure that you have a structure in place. Whether that structure is something onshore, offshore, doesn't really matter. You just need to start thinking about how you manage your wealth. Because if you start using conventional methods and do things like how our forefathers used to do it, there may be consequences which may not be favorable to you in the long run. Most importantly, it may not be favorable to your family. So that's why it's important for Malaysians to start thinking about planning, because all this affluency needs to be structured in a proper manner. Coincidentally, when you have a lot of affluency, a lot of Malaysians would tend to go abroad. They will take their business abroad to diversify, to basically increase their income. So cross-border activities and transactions are not uncommon to Malaysians, to an average businessman. You can just look at our SME industry, which is which is the backbone of our country, and each of these SME industries will at some point go abroad. They have to, otherwise you cannot sustain. So I've seen in my experience that a lot of Malaysians have gone as far as Vietnam, Myanmar. I mean, they've always been going to places like China, Indonesia, Singapore, and Philippines. But this act of going abroad necessarily carries with it a risk, a baggage of risks. So if you don't have a structure in place, then you are exposing yourself to those risks. And related to that, we've also seen most of the SME industries, the family-run businesses, it's becoming very normal now for family-run businesses to expand really quickly. I mean, we just have to look at some of our examples in Malaysia. You can look at the Berjaya Group, you can look at the Malewar Group, the Sapura, Genting, YTL. These are all family-run businesses. I mean, they started as a family business and expanded to such magnitudes that they are today. But if you don't manage it properly, if you don't have the right structure in place, then you will have problems. Essentially, in a family-run business, there are multiple parties, intergenerational. You will run it, and then you'll share it with your brothers and sisters. Then your children will come in, their children will come in. These are all multiple personalities coming in. If you don't have a structure in place to govern these differentials, then you will have issues. And you don't have to go very far. You can look at the Malewar Group and the Sapura Group in Malaysia to know what's happening. And I think as early as, the Sapura Group is going through some family feuds at the moment between the patriarch and the two sons. We don't know where that's going to end up, but this is a multi-billion-dollar business. And if you don't have the right structure in place to govern the different personalities, then you will have problems. And related to that, the business owners, the first liners, the person who started the business, the patriarchs, the matriarchs, essentially when they start a business, at some point they will lose control. Why? Because the next generation will want to come in. But if you don't have the right structure in place that allows for a seamless transfer of power or control, then the business is bound to be doomed. I mean, if you look at the Ambani brothers in India and the Samsung group in Korea, we can know the problems that is already happening in those families. And the Reliance group was once such a huge industry, business or company. It's now divided between the two brothers. Imagine how big they can. They are already big now, even on their own. But imagine how big they can be if they're all together. I know you are thinking these are all multi-billion-dollar businesses, you know, they are billionaires, probably not related to you. Although the net worth could be different, the problems essentially are the same. So if you don't have a structure in place to govern these things, you could, or your clients could, face the same trouble. And all those things that we've discussed above, I mean, if essentially it boils down to the same thing, if you don't have a structure in place, there will be family feuds. There will be infighting between the siblings, there will be infighting between the family members, there will be infighting even between the people who are working in the companies, because they will say they probably deserve a better pay cut or a better slice of the cake, and the family would probably be stretching towards another corner. So structures are essential. Gone are the days where we can just close one eye and expect things to fall into place. Clients and industry players and planners need to start thinking about having proper structures in place, failing which there could be problems in the long run. So we've seen that and the importance of planning.